the Secretary of State of the great state of Minnesota, the Honorable Mark Ritchie. Please rise.
The hour of 12 o'clock having arrived, and in obedience to the laws of the state of Minnesota, becomes my duty as your Secretary of State to call the members of the Minnesota House of Representatives to order. I will appoint as the Clerk Pro Tem Representative Carol McFarland from District 53B. I will call on Reverend Grady Smith Dennis to offer a prayer.
Let us pray. Creator and loving God, gathered here today are your people's elected officials. We ask your blessing upon them, that they may do their good work, mindful that it is your people whom they serve. As we begin this new legislative session, we know we do so at a time of great challenge and need, at a time like no other in our state's history. Kindle in the hearts of all our elected officials a deep sense of personal calling, a calling that they have been gathered here for such a time as this, to be a servant leader. We ask you to inspire in each a sense of compassion, kindness, humility, meekness, and patience as they lead. As these wrestle with the difficult choices, fill them with compassion. Let the test of our work be how that work impacts those whom we serve. Are they healthier? Are they wiser? Are they freer? Let us understand our blessings and the place of privilege from which we operate, that our hearts may be attuned to how our decisions impact the least privileged in our society. In the moments of disagreement, stress, and tension, we pray that you'd fill them with kindness and respect for each other. Let each show self-restraint. Help us bear with one another, and let each of us seek to be the one to reach out first in kindness. Let us seek not so much to be understood as to understand. Give each gathered here an overflowing portion of humility and meekness, that they would do nothing from selfish ambition or conceit, but would regard others as better than themselves, looking not to our own interests, but to the interests of others. And finally, we thank you for these gathered here. Give them an abiding sense of patience. Let them not be paralyzed by the magnitude of the issues we face, nor overwhelmed with worry, but in everything, from the major issue to the lesser one, and on the good days and on the bad days, let them turn to you confidently in prayer and with thanksgiving to let their requests be made known to you. Gracious God, bless and keep these faithful public servants. Sustain them in the difficult and challenging days. Help them use their authority to serve faithfully and to promote the general welfare. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend. Our chaplain today is Reverend Grady St. Dennis, Director of Church Relations, Gustavus Adolphus College. Members and guests, please remain standing and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to this republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, this will be a historic session. While you do your work, our nation will observe the 150th anniversary of the swearing in of President Abraham Lincoln and the 150th anniversary of the beginning of our Civil War. This powerful portrait is a reminder of how much our own history is intertwined with those events in our nation's history. Today, our work and your work every day here honors those who sacrificed so much to make this day possible, especially those who gave the last full measure in defense of this one nation, this indivisible nation. Thank you so much for your public service in honor of their memory and sacrifice. The clerk will now call the roll.
1A, Dan Fabian. Fabian present. 1B, Deborah Deb Keel. Keel present. 2A, Kent Eakin. Eakin present. 2B, David Hancock. Hancock present. Number 3A, Tom Anzels. Anzels present. Number 3B, Carolyn McElfatrick. McElfatrick present. 4A, John Purcell. Purcell present. 4B, Larry Howes. Howes present. 5A, Tom Rukavina. Rukavina present. 5B, Anthony Tony Surdich. Surdich present. 6A, David Dill. Dill present. 6B, Mary Murphy. Murphy present. 7A, Thomas Huntley. Huntley present. 7B, Carrie Gauthier. Gauthier present. 8A, Bill Hilty. Hilty present. 8B, Roger Crawford. Crawford present. 7A, Maury Lanning. Lanning present. 9B, Paul Marquardt. Marquardt present. 10A, Bud Nornis. Nornis present. 10B, Mark Murdoch. I know he's here. Oh. Murdoch present. 11A, Tori Westrom. Westrom present. 11B, Mary Franzen. Franzen present. 12A, John Ward. Ward present. 12B, Mike Lemire. Lemire present. 13A, Paul Anderson. Anderson present. 13B, Bruce Vogel. Vogel present. 14A, Tom O'Driscoll. O'Driscoll present. 14B, Larry Hosh. Hosh present. 15A, Steve Gottwald. Gottwald present. 15B, King Banyan. Banyan present. 16A, Sandra Erickson. Erickson present. 16B, Mary Kiffmeyer. Kiffmeyer present. 17A, Kurt Dowd. Dowd present. 17B, Bob Barrett. Barrett present. 18A, Ron Szymanski. Szymanski present. 18B, Dean Erdahl. Erdahl present. 19A, Bruce Anderson. Anderson present. 19B, Joe McDonald. McDonald present. 20A, Andrew Falk. Falk present. 20B, Lyle Coonan. Coonan present. 21, Chris Swedzinski. Swedzinski present. 19B, Paul Torkelson. 21B, I'm sorry. Paul Torkelson present. 22A, Joe Schumacher. Schumacher present. 22B, Rod Hamilton. Hamilton present. 23A, Terry Morrow. Morrow present. 23B, Kathy Breinert. Breinert present. 24A, Bob Gunther. Gunther present. 24B, Tony Cornish. Cornish present. 25A, Glenn Grunhagen. Grunhagen present. 25B, Kelby Woodard. Woodard present. 26A, Corey Cath. Cath present. 26B, Patty Fritz. Fritz present. 27A, Rich Murray. Murray present. 27B, Jean Poppy. Poppy present. 28A, Tim Kelly. Kelly present. 28B, Steve Druskowski. Druskowski present. 29A, Dwayne Quam. Quam present. 29B, Kim Norton. Norton present. 30A, Tina Liebling. Liebling present. 30B, Mike Benson. Benson present. 31A, Gene Pulowski Jr. Pulowski present. 31B, Gregory M. Davids. Davids present. 32A, Joyce Pepin. Pepin present. 32B, Kurt Zellers. Zellers present. 33A, Steve Smith. Smith present. 33B, Connie Depke. Depke present. 34A, Ernie Leidiger. Leidiger present. 34B, Joe Hoppy. Hoppy present. 35A, Mike Beard. Beard present. 35B, Mark Biskins. Biskins present. 36A, Mary Liz Holberg. Holberg present. 36B, Pat Garofalo. Garofalo present. 37A, Tara Mack. Mack present. 37B, Kurt Bills. Bills present. 38A, Diane Anderson. Anderson present. 38B, Doug Wardlow. Wardlow present. 39A, Rick Hansen. Hansen present. 39B, Joe Atkins. Atkins present. 40A, Pam Myra. Myra present. 40B, Ann Lincheski. Lincheski present. 41A, Keith Downey. Downey present. 41B, Pat Mazeral. Mazeral present. 42A, Kirk Stensrud. Stensrud present. 42B, Jennifer Loon. Loon present. 43A, Sarah Anderson. Anderson present. 43B, John Benson. Benson present. 44A, Steve Simon. Simon present. 44B, Ryan Winkler. Winkler present. 45A, Sandra Peterson. Peterson present. 45B, Lyndon R. Carlson. Carlson present. 46A, Michael Nelson. Nelson present. 46B, Deborah Hillstrom. Hillstrom present. 47A, Denise R. Dietrich. Dietrich present. 47B, Melissa Hortman. Hortman present. 48A, Tom Hackbarth. Hackbarth present. 48B, Jim Abler. Abler present. 49A, Peggy Scott. Scott present. 49B, Brandon Peterson. Peterson present. 50A, Carolyn Lane. Lane present. 50B, Kate Knuth. Knuth present. 51A, Tim Sanders. Sanders present. 51B, Tom Tilbury. Tilbury present. 52A, Bob Detmer. Detmer present. 52B, Matt Dean. Dean present. 53A, Linda Runbeck. Runbeck present. 53B, Carol McFarland. Present. McFarland present. 54A, Mindy Greiling. Greiling present. 54B, Bev Scalzi. Scalzi present. 55A, Leon M. Lilly. Lilly present. 55B, Nora Slawick. Slawick present. 56A, Kathy Lomer. Lomer present. 56B, Andrea Kiefer. Kiefer present. 57A, John Kriesel. Kriesel present. 57B, Denny McNamara. McNamara present. 58A, Joe Mullery. Mullery present. 58B, Bobby Joe Champion. Champion present. 59A, Diane Loeffler. Loeffler present. 59B, Phyllis Kahn. Kahn present. 60A, Marion Green. Green present. 60B, Frank Hornstein. Hornstein present. 61A, Karen Clark. Clark present. 61B, Jeff Hayden. Hayden present. 62A, Jim Davney. Davney present. 62B, Gene Wagenius. Wagenius present. 63A, Paul Thiessen. Thiessen present. 63B, Linda Slocum. Slocum present. 64A, Aaron Murphy. Murphy present. 64B, Michael Paymar. Paymar present. 65A, Rena Moran. Moran present. 65B, Carlos Mariani. Mariani present. 66A, John Lesh. Lesh present. 66B, Alice Hausman. Hausman present. 67A, Tim Mahoney. Mahoney present. 67B, Sheldon Johnson. Johnson present.
Thank you very much. There being 134 certificates of election on file, I call on the Honorable Kathleen A. Blatz, retired Chief Justice of our Minnesota Supreme Court, to come forward to administer the oath of office to the members-elect. Will member-elects please rise while retired Chief Justice Blatz administers the oath of office.
I would ask that the members-elect please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Minnesota, and that you will faithfully discharge the duties of the office to which you have been elected to the best of your ability, so help you God? Congratulations.
Congratulations again to everyone, and thank you for your public service. The clerk pro tem will take the roll to determine the presence of a quorum. It's new, it's electronic this time. We're close. Carol, you'll tell me when to close? Or were you close? Oh, right here. Cool. Uh-oh, went down. What do we do? Somebody wasn't here, Carol.
Lencheski? Lencheski. Should we just... We know she's here.
The clerk pro tem will close the roll. A quorum is present. We will proceed to the election of your speaker. Nominations are now in order. I recognize Representative Jim Abler from the District 48B for the purpose of a nomination.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary and members, and I do appreciate the electronic roll call. This is an improvement. Mr. Secretary and members, it's my high honor to nominate my friend for Speaker of the House today. Kurt Zellers is highly qualified and in state and national experience, opportunities he's had. He has a business background, understands the economy. He's a family man, understands the challenges families are going through these days. He knows how to meet a budget. I found him to be approachable and a good listener. He's fair-minded and a problem solver. I think that he'll be the good and strong leader that we need in these times to get the job done. And I know of no one, except for all of us here, who is equally committed to the success of Minnesota and a strong future for our state. And it's my intention to pray for him for wisdom, and I encourage you all to do the same for him as well as the rest of us as we tackle a challenge the likes we have not seen before. So, Mr. Speaker, it's my honor to nominate Kurt Zellers for Speaker of the House.
Thank you. Are there any seconds to this nomination? I recognize Representative Tim Kelly from District 28A.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members. It is my honor to respectfully second the nomination of Kurt Zellers as Speaker of the House. And I think, as Representative Abler said, we do have many challenges facing us, and those challenges will demand leadership that is clear, concise, and respected. I go back just 2 years ago, coming into this House as a freshman, and I was given the advice and reminded that I have 2 ears and 1 mouth and to use them accordingly. So I took that to mean to sit down and watch and listen. And as I did that, it occurred to me very quickly that when certain people in the House got up to speak, that the laptops went down and the heads came up on both sides of the aisle to turn and listen to these people because everyone wanted to know what they were going to say. And one of those was Kurt Zellers. And he always spoke with clear, concise messages. He may have always, may even have delivered those with a bit of humor once in a while. And I think that's an important characteristic because I think sometimes we take ourselves too seriously on the floor here and in our job. But we have to be able to laugh at ourselves and with each other. And I think delivering that message is very important. And now we flash forward just 2 years, and at one of the first press conferences after the election, I think all the media was around and they wanted to get that first quote from Representative Zellers. Maybe it was, they thought it would be gloating or champion some cause. But I'll never forget Representative Zellers' first statement to the press when they asked how he felt about the day. He said, "Well, I really don't feel like celebrating. It's just time to get to work." So I appreciate that message, and again, I respectfully second the nomination of Kurt Zellers as our Speaker of the House. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I recognize Representative Paul Marquardt from the District 9B for the purpose of a nomination.
Thank you very much, Mr. Secretary and members. It is my honor to nominate Representative Paul Thiessen for Speaker of the House of the Minnesota State House of Representatives. As you know, Representative Thiessen has traveled every corner of this state and everywhere in between. He knows this state. He understands Minnesotans. And Representative Thiessen has been a strong advocate and a very hard worker for the issues that matter the most to Minnesotans: jobs, education, health care, property tax relief. He is a man of compromise, and you won't find a harder worker than Representative Paul Thiessen. It is my honor to place in the nomination Representative Paul Thiessen for Speaker of the House.
Thank you. Are there any seconds to this nomination? I recognize Representative Linda Slocum of District 63B.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I second the nomination of Representative Thiessen for Speaker of the House. Representative Thiessen brings people together because of his strong commitment to fairness. He makes sure that everyone's voice is heard, that everyone has a place at the table. Paul listens. Representative Thiessen knows every nook and cranny of Minnesota. He's been there. He's had coffee with the people who live there. He has heard their stories of joy, and he's heard their stories of pain. Paul understands. Representative Thiessen and I represent District 63 together, and we have for 4 years. Our people come from many different cultures with diverse expectations and needs. I've seen Representative Thiessen calmly mediate between angry people. I've seen him communicate with non-English speaking people. I've seen him pitch in and help because it just was the right thing to do. Paul Thiessen cares. Because Paul listens, because Paul understands and cares deeply, I believe Representative Thiessen is exactly who we need as Speaker, and I am honored to place his name in nomination.
Thank you. Are there any further nominations? Are there any further nominations? Are there any further nominations? Seeing no further nominations, I now declare that nominations are closed. The two nominated candidates for Speaker are Representative Kurt Zellers and Representative Paul Thiessen. The Clerk Pro Tem will now call the roll on the selection of the Speaker. I believe it's also electronic?
No.
Nope. Okay.
They have to say the name of the person. Abler. Abler Zellers. Anderson B. Anderson B. Zellers. Anderson D. Anderson D. Zellers. Anderson P. Anderson P. Zellers. Anderson S. Anderson S. Zellers. Anzels. Anzels Thiessen. Atkins. Atkins Thiessen. Banyan. Banyan Zellers. Barrett. Barrett Zellers. Beard. Beard Zellers. Benson J. Benson J. Thiessen. Benson M. Benson M. Zellers. Bills. Bill Zellers. Breinert. Breinert Thiessen. Biskins. Biskins Zellers. Carlson. Carlson Thiessen. Champion. Champion Thiessen. Clark. Clark Thiessen. Cornish. Cornish Zellers. Crawford. Crawford Zellers. Dowd. Dowd Zellers. Davids. Davids Pass. Davney. Davney Thiessen. Dean. Dean Zellers. Detmer. Detmer Zellers. Dill. Dill Thiessen. Dietrich. Dietrich Thiessen. Depke. Depke Zellers. Downey. Downey Zellers. Droskowski. Droskowski Zellers. Eakin. Eakin Thiessen. Erickson. Erickson Zellers. Fabian. Fabian Zellers. Falk. Falk Thiessen. Franzen. Franzen Zellers. Fritz. Fritz Thiessen. Garofalo. Garofalo Zellers. Gauthier. Gauthier Thiessen. Gottwald. Gottwald Zellers. Green. Green Thiessen. Greiling. Greiling Thiessen. Grunhagen. Grunhagen Zellers. Gunther. Gunther Zellers. Hackbarth. Hackbarth Zellers. Hamilton. Hamilton Zellers. Hancock. Hancock Zellers. Hanson. Hanson Thiessen. Hausman. Hausman Thiessen. Hayden. Hayden Thiessen. Hillstrom. Hillstrom Thiessen. Hilty. Hilty Thiessen. Holberg. Holberg Zellers. Hoppy. Hoppy Zellers. Hornstein. Hornstein Thiessen. Hortman. Hortman Thiessen. Hosch. Hosch Thiessen. Howes. Howes Zellers. Huntley. Huntley Thiessen. Johnson. Johnson Thiessen. Kahn. Kahn Thiessen. Kath. Kath Thiessen. Kelly. Kelly Zellers. Kiefer. Kiefer Zellers. Keel. Keel Zellers. Kiffmeyer. Kiffmeyer Zellers. Knuth. Knuth Thiessen. Kunin. Kunin Thiessen. Kriesel. Kriesel Zellers. Lane. Lane Thiessen. Lanning. Lanning Zellers. Leidiger. Leidiger Zellers. Lemire. Lemire Zellers. Lincheski. Lincheski Thiessen. Lesch. Lesch Thiessen. Liebling. Liebling Thiessen. Lilly. Lilly Thiessen. Loeffler. Loeffler Thiessen. Lohmer. Lohmer Zellers. Loon. Loon Zellers. Mack. Mack Zellers. Mahoney. Did I hear? Did you hear? Mahoney. Mariani. Thiessen. Mariani Thiessen. Marquardt. Marquardt Thiessen. Mazeral. Mazeral Zellers. McDonald. McDonald Zellers. McElpatrick. McElpatrick Zellers. McFarland Zellers. McFarland Zellers. McNamara. McNamara Zellers. Moran. Moran Thiessen. Morrow. Morrow Thiessen. Mullery. Mullery Thiessen. Murdoch. Murdoch Zellers. Murphy E. Murphy E. Thiessen. Murphy M. Murphy M. Thiessen. Murray. Murray Zellers. Myra. Myra Zellers. Nelson. Nelson Thiessen. Nornis. Nornis Zellers. Norton. Norton Thiessen. O'Driscoll. O'Driscoll Zellers. Paymar. Paymar Thiessen. Pulowski. Pepin. Pepin Zellers. Purcell. Purcell Thiessen. Peterson B. Peterson B. Zellers. Peterson S. Peterson S. Thiessen. Poppy. Poppy Thiessen. Quam. Quam Zellers. Rukavina. Rukavina Thiessen. Runbeck. Runbeck Zellers. Sanders. Sanders Zellers. Scalzi. Scalzi Thiessen. Schumacher. Schumacher Zellers. Scott. Scott Zellers. Surdich. Surdich Thiessen. Szymanski. Szymanski Zellers. Simon. Simon Thiessen. Slawick. Slawick Thiessen. Slocum. Slocum Thiessen. Smith. Smith Zellers. Stensrud. Stensrud Zellers. Swedzinski. Swedzinski Zellers. Thiessen. Thiessen Thiessen. Tilbury. Tilbury Thiessen. Torkelson. Torkelson Zellers. Erdahl. Erdahl Zellers. Vogel. Vogel Zellers. Wagenius. Wagenius Thiessen. Ward. Ward Thiessen. Wardlow. Wardlow Zellers. Westrom. Westrom Zellers. Winkler. Winkler Thiessen. Woodard. Woodard Zellers. Zellers. Zellers Zellers. Okay. Do we recall David's? Okay. David's. David's Zellers. Mahoney. Mahoney Thiessen. And there was one other. Pulowski. Okay. You got the count then?
The results of the roll call on the election of Speaker are Representative Kurt Zellers, 72, Representative Paul Thiessen, 61. I thereby declare Representative Kurt Zellers duly elected Speaker of the House of Representatives for the 2011 and 2012 session. Congratulations. Ready to rock and roll? I appoint the following committee of members to escort the Speaker-elect to the rostrum. Loon, McDonald, Woodard, Hayden, and Lilly. I call on the Honorable Ron Abrams, District Court Judge, Hennepin County. To give the oath of office to the Speaker-elect.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Minnesota, and that you will faithfully discharge the duties of the office to which you have just been elected to the best of your ability, so help you God?
I do.
Congratulations, Mr. Speaker.
It is my honor, it is my privilege to present you with this gavel. Congratulations, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary of State. Thank you also to the Honorable Abrams, the Honorable Blatz, for helping us to swear us in today, especially to my mentor and first tax chair in the House Tax Committee, Judge Abrams. You're a true friend and a great, not only mentor to us, but a great leader in our state. Thank you for being here. Thank you also to my family, to my mom and my stepdad. My mom, who still thinks I can do no wrong. Don't ask those guys over there, Mom. To my stepdad, Kenny, who taught me more about integrity, hard work, dedication, and good old-fashioned Norwegian stubbornness. Thank you, Kenny. To my sister, Jody, my nephew, and my niece, Hannah and Parker, thank you for being here. Thank you for putting up with all my abuse, Jody. I appreciate it. To my mother and father-in-law, Kathy and Chuck Rydell, thank you for making me a part of your family. Only in a family like yours could 8 adults, 9 grandkids, and 2 dogs spend a week together at Christmas and still speak to each other. Most of all, thank you to my dear wife, Kim, and to Reagan and Will. Honey, there's nothing in the world that I'd be able to do without you. Going through what we've been through, our daughter Lauren, all the things that we've been through with Reagan, none of it's possible without you. To my sweet peanut girl, Reagan, thank you for your bright smiles. Thank you for being the miracle to our family that you are. And to my little 10-pounder Bubba guy, Will, thank you for all of your enthusiasm and for being my best buddy ever. Thank you all for being here. To my dad, Kirby, who's not here with us today, like many small business owners here in the great state of Minnesota, he's out working. He's overseas and can't be here with us today. But to my dad, thank you for instilling in me and every fiber that I am the small business owner here in Minnesota, the women and men who drive our economy. That is our true essence. That is what makes not only Minnesota great, but makes our nation great. Thank you, Dad, for instilling that in me. To my colleagues here on the House floor, our job now is to govern. The campaigns are over. It's our time to move forward. And based on our economy, based on what the voters expect of us, it is incumbent upon us to do just that, to move forward, to get our great state moving again. We will work together because that's what is expected of us, but that's also what the voters want and what our economy dictates. I look forward to working with many of you. You are all friends. We've known each other. The fights that you see in the press, for those of you who are family and friends here, maybe happen out here, but behind us in the retiring room, you'll see what great friends we really are. I look forward to working with you and working in a respectful manner here on the House floor. To the taxpayers of the great state of Minnesota, we will respect and treat every one of your dollars that you send to us with the same common sense and the same frugality that you all spend when you do it around your kitchen table. These are tough economic times. We in government will respect your hard-earned dollars just like you do. We will make them stretch. We will work with them. We will work with our colleagues down here to make sure that they are being spent just like you would spend them if you were spending them on your family's budget. To the business women and men across the great state of Minnesota and to their employees, thank you. Thank you for all that you do to make this one of the greatest states, not only in the country, but in the world. Your innovation, your hard work, your pride in the work that you do make this a great state, not only to live in, to raise our families in, but also to prosper. We thank you for that. We thank you for the work that you do, for the jobs that you provide. We have one last ask, if we could. We need your help. We need you to come with your ideas. We need you to bring your innovations. Whether you're the VP of operations, whether you're a snowplow driver, whether you're a sandwich artist, or whether you are the top saleswoman that are in the biggest commission in your company, we need your ideas. We need you to work with us. We need you to help us with your solutions, the things that you've had to do in your business, in your company, the suggestions you've offered to your boss. Please bring them to us. My faith here today and in our state's return is in you, the business women and men of our great state. You will lead the recovery. We in government know that we work for you, not the other way around. And we need your help to rebuild our economy, to make this great state even greater, and to lead the recovery. We will be that shining North Star again when it comes to rebuilding our state's economy, but also leading the way in innovation, in technology, and making sure that our great state is one not only great again, but is leading the nation. We ask for your help. To the teachers here in the great state of Minnesota, including my wife, we thank you for the work that you do. There is no act more frightening, yet rewarding to see one of your little kids go off and spend their whole day now with somebody else. Please know that we cherish each and every one of you. The gifts that you give our children in education and inspiration are very, very important to us. We thank you for that. We ask for your solutions as well. Help us to lead the way across not only this great nation, but across the world in our education standards and the way that we're going to teach our kids. The old way of doing things just isn't going to work. We need to use technology. We need to use online learning. We need to make those changes that countries all across this great world have made that have changed the way they teach their kids. We need your help, and we thank you for your service. We have a daunting task ahead of us. This is going to be a difficult economic recovery. Starting slow, and it may slow down a little bit more. But again, my faith lies not only in us here at the Capitol, but the business women and men of this great state to help us lead our way out. I look forward to working with each and every one of you, just as we have in the past, as we will continue to do. We will have our disagreements. We'll probably have a few amendments here on the House floor. But I ask that we start off on the things we agree on, and if we don't get around to the things we disagree on, we'll be a better place for this. Thank you for the service that you are giving to your families. Thank you to the families, not only of our freshmen, but to those incumbents who know what it's like to be down here. Thank you for the giving of your time so that your families can serve down here. Thank you, and let's get Minnesota back to work. So let's get started. The next order of business is the election of the chief clerk. I recognize Representative Steve Smith from District 33A for the purpose of a nomination.
Mr. Speaker, thank you. It's my honor to be able to nominate Al Mathewitz to the position of chief clerk of the Minnesota House of Representatives. Al has a very long list of qualifications, including in part the following. He was first hired by the Minnesota House of Representatives 39 years ago as administrative assistant in 1971, as journal clerk 1973 to 1980, as second assistant chief clerk 1981 to 1983, as first assistant chief clerk 1985 to 2004, and as our chief clerk 2005 to the present. Al is a graduate of St. Cloud State University, and he was a member of the United States Army Reserves 1969 to 1975. Al was born and raised on a farm near Morgan, Minnesota. He's married to Carol and has 3 adult children. Mr. Speaker and members, the legislature is often a flurry of activity, and we cannot always know what will come from one day to the next. Yet, in that pursuit of the people's business, we can always count on a set of rules and a dutiful individual to guide our way. For the past 5 years, Al Mathewitz has provided this steady presence behind the rostrum, keeping his body in order and maintaining the integrity of our legislative process. As a diligent public servant in this most important position of legislative referee, it is with great honor that I nominate Al Mathewitz to the position of chief clerk of the Minnesota House of Representatives.
Thank you. I recognize Representative Tilbury from District 51B to second the nomination.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm proud and honored to second the nomination of Al Mathewitz for the office of chief clerk. His commitment to our state through his service has been impeccable over the years. His knowledge and demeanor, grace, and the utmost skill in his position has been greatly displayed. I am most thankful for the role that he has played in helping our Youth in Government program. This program teaches our Minnesota students what government is all about. The help and guidance that he has shown to our students is just a small example of how much help and guidance he has shown us here in the House of Representatives. Again, it is with great honor that I second the nomination of Al Mathewitz for the office of Chief Clerk.
Thank you. Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? If not, I declare the nominations are closed. The clerk pro tem will call the roll on the election of the chief clerk.
Abler Mathewitz. Anderson B. Mathewitz. Anderson D. Mathewitz. Anderson P. Anderson P. Mathewitz. Anderson S. Mathewitz. Enzels Mathewitz. Atkins Mathewitz. Banyan Mathewitz. Barrett Mathewitz. Beard Mathewitz. Benson J. Mathewitz. Benson M. Mathewitz. Bills Mathewitz. Breinert Mathewitz. Biskins Mathewitz. Carlson Mathewitz. Champion Mathewitz. Clark Mathewitz. Cornish Mathewitz. Crawford Mathewitz. Doubt Mathewitz. Davids Mathewitz. Davney Mathewitz. Dean Mathewitz. Detmer Mathewitz. Dill Mathewitz. Dietrich Mathewitz. Depke Mathewitz. Downey Mathewitz. Druskowski Mathewitz. Eakin Eakin Mathewitz. Erickson. Erickson Mathewitz. Fabian. Fabian Mathewitz. Falk. Falk Mathewitz. Franzen. Franzen Mathewitz. Mathewitz. It's getting long. Fritz. Fritz Mathewitz. Garofalo. Garofalo Mathewitz. Gauthier. Gauthier Mathewitz. Gottwald. Gottwald Mathewitz. Green. Green Mathewitz. Greiling. Greiling Mathewitz. Grunhagen. Grunhagen Mathewitz. Gunther. Gunther Mathewitz. Hackbarth. Hackbarth Mathewitz. Hamilton. Hamilton Mathewitz. Hancock. Hancock Mathewitz. Hansen. Hansen Mathewitz. Hausman. Hausman Mathewitz. Hayden. Hayden Mathewitz. Hillstrom. Hillstrom Mathewitz. Hilty. Hilty Mathewitz. Holberg. Holberg Mathewitz. Hoppy. Hoppy Mathewitz. Hornstein. Hornstein Mathewitz. Hortman. Hortman Mathewitz. Hosh. Hosh Mathewitz. Howes. Howes Mathewitz. Huntley. Huntley Mathewitz. Johnson. Johnson Mathewitz. Kahn. Kahn Mathewitz. Kath. Kath Mathewitz. Kelly. Kelly Mathewitz. Kiefer. Kiefer Mathewitz. Keel. Keel Mathewitz. Kiffmeyer. Kiffmeyer Mathewitz. Knuth. Knuth Mathewitz. Kunin. Kunin Mathewitz. Kriesel. Kriesel Mathewitz. Lane. Lane Mathewitz. Lanning. Lanning Mathewitz. Leidiger. Leidiger Mathewitz. Lemire. Lemire Mathewitz. Lencheski. Lencheski Mathewitz. Lesh. Lesh Makowith. Liebling. Liebling Mathewitz. Lilly. Lilly Mathewitz. Loeffler. Loeffler Mathewitz. Lomer. Lomer Mathewitz. Loon. Loon Mathewitz. Mack. Mack Mathewitz. Mahoney. Mahoney Mathewitz. Mariani. What's that? Al Mathewitz. Okay. Marquardt. Marquardt Mathewitz. Mazerall. Mazerall Mathewitz. McDonald. McDonald Mathewitz. McElfatrick. McElfatrick Mathewitz. McFarland Mathewitz. McNamara. McNamara Mathewitz. Moran. Moran Mathewitz. Morrow. Morrow Mathewitz. Mullery. Mullery Mathewitz. Murdoch. Murdoch Mathewitz. Murphy E. Murphy E. Mathewitz. Murphy M. Murphy M. Mathewitz. Murray. Murray Mathewitz. Myra. Myra Mathewitz. Nelson. Nelson Mathewitz. Nornis. Nornis Mathewitz. Norton. Norton Mathewitz. O'Driscoll. O'Driscoll Mathewitz. Paymar. Paymar Mathewitz. Pulowski. Pulowski Mathewitz. Pepin. Pepin Mathewitz. Purcell. Purcell Mathewitz. Peterson B. Peterson B. Mathewitz. Peterson S. Peterson S. Mathewitz. Poppy. Poppy Mathewitz. Quam. Quam Mathewitz. Rukavina. Rukavina Mathewitz. Runbeck. Runbeck Mathewitz. Sanders. Sanders Mathewitz. Scalzi. Scalzi Mathewitz. Schumacher. Schumacher Mathewitz. Scott. Scott Mathewitz. Surdich. Surdich Mathewitz. Shemansky. Shemansky Mathewitz. Simon. Simon Mathewitz. Slowick. Slowick Mathewitz. Slocum. Slocum Mathewitz. Smith, Smith, Mathowitz. Stensrud, Stensrud, Mathowitz. Swedzinski, Swedzinski, Mathowitz. Thiessen, Thiessen, Mathowitz. Tilbury, Tilbury, Mathowitz. Torkelson, Torkelson, Mathowitz. Erdahl, Erdahl, Mathowitz. Vogel, Vogel, Mathowitz. Wagenius, Wagenius, Mathowitz. Ward, Ward, Mathowitz. Wardlow, Ward, Mathowitz. Westrom, Westrom, Mathowitz. Winkler, Winkler, Mathowitz. Woodard, Woodard, Mathowitz. Zellers, Zellers, Mathowitz.
There being 134 ayes and 0 nays, Al Mathowitz has been elected Chief Clerk. Will the Chief Clerk please come forward to take the oath of office? Do you solemnly swear or affirm that you will support the Constitution of the United States and of the state of Minnesota, and that you will faithfully discharge the duties of the office to which you have been elected to the best of your ability, so help you God?
I do.
Thanks, sir. Congratulations. Representative Kiffmeyer offers the following resolution on election to other officers. The Chief Clerk will read the resolution.
Kiffmeyer offers the following resolution and moves its adoption. Resolved that the election of the other officers be made on one roll call unless there should be more than one nomination for any one office.
I call on the member from Sherburne, Representative Kiffmeyer.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members. This resolution on its face, I think, is quite clear. It just simply instructs us that, if passed, that if there is one name, one nomination for each office, there will be single roll call. I respectfully ask the members to vote aye.
Is there any discussion? Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. The resolution is adopted. I call on Representative Kiffmeyer from 16B, who will make a series of nominations. Representative Kiffmeyer.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members. I'm very pleased and honored to be able to place these names in nomination. First Assistant Chief Clerk, Patrick D. Murphy. Second Assistant Chief Clerk, Gail C. Romanowski. First Assistant Sergeant-at-Arms, Jonathan Larson. Second Assistant Sergeant-at-Arms, Postmaster, Jason E. Brown. Assistant Sergeant-at-Arms, Jenny S. Nash. Assistant Postmaster, Solving K. Kong. And Index Clerk, Carl T. Hamre. Mr. Speaker, I proudly place these names in nomination.
Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? If not, I declare the nominations are closed. The Chief Clerk will call the roll of the election of other officers. You may vote slate if you wish.
Abler. Abler, slate. Anderson B. Anderson B, slate. Anderson D. Anderson D, slate. Anderson P. Anderson P. Slade. Anderson S. Anderson S. Slade. Anzel. Anzel Slade. Atkins. Atkins Slade. Banyan. Banyan Slade. Barrett. Barrett Slade. Beard. Beard Slade. Benson J. Benson J. Slade. Benson M. Benson M. Slade. Bills. Bills Slade. Reinhardt. Reinhardt Slade. Biskins. Biskins Slade. Carlson. Carlson Slade. Champion. Champion Slade. Clark. Clark Slade. Cornish. Cornish Slade. Crawford. Crawford Slade. Doubt. Doubt Slade. Davids. Davids Slade. Davney. Davney Slade. Dean. Dean Slade. Detmer. Detmer Slade. Dill. Dill Slade. Dietrich. Dietrich Slade. Depke. Depke Slade. Downey. Downey Slade. Droskowski. Droskowski Slade. Eakin. Eakin Slade. Erickson. Erickson Slade. Fabian. Fabian Slade. Falk. Falk Slade. Franson. Franson Slade. Fritz. Fritz Slade. Garofalo. Garofalo Slade. Gauthier. Gauthier Slade. Gottwald. Gottwald Slade. Green. Green Slade. Greiling. Greiling Slade. Grunhagen. Grunhagen Slade. Gunther. Gunther Slade. Hackbarth. Hackbarth Slade. Hamilton. Hamilton Slade. Hancock. Hancock Slade. Hanson. Hanson Slade. Hausman. Hausman Slade. Hayden. Hayden Slade. Hillstrom. Hillstrom Slade. Hilty. Hilty Slade. Holberg. Holberg Slade. Hoppy. Hoppy Slade. Hornstein. Hornstein Slade. Hortman. Hortman Slade. Hosh. Hosh Slade. Howes. Howes Slade. Huntley. Huntley Slade. Johnson. Johnson Slade. Kahn. Kahn Slade. Cath. Cath Slade. Kelly. Kelly Slade. Kiefer. Kiefer Slade. Keel. Keel Slade. Kiffmeyer. Kiffmeyer Slade. Knuth. Knuth Slade. Kunin. Kunin Slade. Kriesel. Kriesel Slade. Lane. Lane. Lane Slade. Lanning. Lanning Slade. Leidiger. Leidiger Slade. Lemire. Lemire Slade. Lencheski. Lencheski Slade. Lesh. Lesh Slade. Liebling. Liebling Slade. Lilly. Lilly Slade. Loeffler. Loeffler Slade. Lemire. Lomar. Lomar Slade. Loon. Loon Slade. Mack. Mack Slade. Mahoney. Mahoney Slade. Mariani. Mariani Slade. Marquardt. Marquardt Slade. Mazeral. Mazeral Slade. McDonald. McDonald Slade. McElfatrick. McElfatrick Slade. McFarland. McFarland Slade. McNamara. McNamara Slade. Moran. Moran Slade. Morrill. Morrill Slade. Mullery. Mullery Slade. Murdoch. Murdoch Slade. Murphy E. Murphy E. Slade. Murphy M. Murphy M. Slade. Murray. Murray Slade. Myra. Myra Slade. Nelson. Nelson Slade. Nornis. Nornis Slade. Norton. Norton Slade. O'Driscoll. O'Driscoll, Slate. Paymar. Paymar, Slate. Pulowski. Pulowski, Slate. Pepin. Pepin, Slate. Purcell. Purcell, Slate. Peterson, B. Peterson, B, Slate. Peterson, S. Peterson, S, Slate. Poppy. Poppy. Poppy, Slate. Quam. Quam, Slate. Rukavina. Rukavina, Slate. Runbeck. Runbeck, Slate. Sanders. Sanders, Slate. Skelsey. Skelsey, Slate. Schumacher. Schumacher, Slate. Scott. Scott, Slate. Surdage. Surdage, Slate. Shemansky. Shemansky, Slate. Simon. Simon, Slate. Slowick. Slowick, Slate. Slocum. Slocum, Slate. Smith. Smith, Slate. Stensrud. Stensrud, Slate. Swazinski. Swazinski, Slate. Thiessen. Thiessen, Slate. Tilbury. Tilbury, Slate. Torkelson. Torkelson, Slate. Erdahl. Erdahl, Slate. Vogel. Vogel, Slate. Wagenius. Wagenius, Slate. Ward. Ward, Slate. Wardlow. Wardlow, Slate. Westrom. Westrom, Slate. Winkler. Winkler, Slate. Woodard. Woodard, Slate. Speaker Zellers.
There being 134 ayes and 0 nays, a majority of the members have voted for the slate. I therefore declare the nominations and duly elected. Will you please come forward? Will you please come forward to take the oath of office? Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the state of Minnesota, and that you will faithfully discharge the duties of the office for which you have been elected to the best of your ability, so help you God? Congratulations. Thank you. Representative Dean offers the following resolution relating to temporary rules. The Chief Clerk will report the resolution.
Representative Dean offers the following resolution and moves its adoption. Be it resolved that the temporary rules of the House for this session, the 87th regular session, shall be the same as the temporary rules of the House for the last session, the 86th regular session, as they existed on Sunday, May 16, 2010, with the following exceptions.
Thank you. There are copies of the resolution on each member's desk. I call the member from Washington, Representative Dean, to explain the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members. This is a resolution to adopt temporary House rules. The temporary House rules will be exactly the same as the rules we've operated upon in the last session, with the technical changes of our committee structure, our number, and also the dates that will be changed within that. So this is customary to adopt the previous session's rules moving forward with those technical updates. Within the next two weeks or so, the Rules Committee will be meeting and having debate, also looking for input from both sides of the aisle on permanent House rules, and we look to members for input on that for vigorous debate here on the floor in a couple of weeks, and we will move forward with that, and with that I would ask for support.
There is an amendment at the desk. The Chief Clerk will report the amendment.
Thiessen moving to amend the proposed temporary rules of the House of Representatives for the 87th session be amended to read as follows. Rule 4.15 is amended to read.
The amendment has not reached every member's desk yet. Reminder for as we go forward, make sure and get your amendments filed early. But to the author of the amendment, to explain before we take the vote, the member from Hennepin, Representative Thiessen.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We can all agree, as we took our oath of office today, that we are facing a budget crisis of serious and historic proportions and dealing with an economy that continues to slow down, to be too slow. People continue to be out of work. We need to get them back to work. People are on the verge of losing their homes. We have a lot of problems facing our state. And, Mr. Speaker, you have correctly stated in recent weeks that this body should focus first on getting our economy going and fulfilling our constitutional obligation to balance our budget in a fair way. And we share that commitment, and I think you heard Governor Dayton yesterday share that commitment as well. You've also stated that other more divisive issues should wait until we get that constitutional duty of balancing our budget done. So what this amendment does, Mr. Speaker, is fairly straightforward and simple. It's something that I think we've all agreed on publicly, and that is an amendment that says and makes clear to the people of Minnesota what our priorities are. And it says that no constitutional amendments will be considered by this body until we actually get our budget balanced and a budget balanced bill signed into law. I'd ask for your support as we get down to the people's business, and I request a roll call, Mr. Speaker.
A roll call being requested. Do I see 15 hands? Seeing 15 hands, there will be a roll call. Member from Washington, Representative Dean.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members, and thank you, Representative Thiessen, for bringing this forward. And we look forward to input from both sides of the aisle on our permanent rules as we move forward. This is something that we are both focused on. We're focused on the economy, we're focused on jobs, and on bringing Minnesota back. And we are also focused moving forward on process, and we want to make sure that we do this in a thoughtful manner, also a transparent manner. We look forward to debating ideas like Representative Thiessen's in the Rules Committee and others, and would invite members from both sides of the aisle to continue to provide input for our permanent rules. However, we want to be able to have our members informed. We want to have input from the outside of the building as well. So with that, Mr. Speaker, I would move that we refer the Thiessen Amendment to the Committee on Rules.
Representative Dean moves the Thiessen Amendment referred to the Committee on Rules. Is there any discussion? Member from Hennepin, Representative Thiessen.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, I would oppose the motion. It is a straightforward amendment, easily understandable, and I think, again, something that we all agree on is that we should get our budget balanced before we deal with constitutional amendments and other issues. And so, Mr. Speaker, I'd ask that people oppose the motion to re-refer to the Rules Committee, and I'd ask for a roll call.
Representative Thiessen has requested a roll call. Are there 15 hands? Seeing 15 hands, there will be a roll call on the Dean motion. Is there any discussion? The member from Washington, Representative Dean.
Mr. Speaker and members, once again, I'd like to thank Representative Thiessen for this idea. I think it may be a valid one. It may be one that we incorporate. But it's also one that we have to weigh. We have to weigh that how this works with our budget and how that might affect the timing of our overall budget. And we want to do that in a very, very thoughtful manner. So with that, Mr. Speaker and members, I would recommend a green vote on this to debate this and other amendments within the Rules Committee in a very, very short period of time, and bring that back to the floor for a vigorous debate when all of our freshmen can be well informed on this and also hear from folks outside of this building.
Seeing no further discussion, the clerk will take the roll. The clerk will close the roll. There being 74 ayes and 60 nays, the Thiessen motion is referred to the Rules Committee. To the Dean motion, is there any other discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay. Okay. This does require, since we are going to be spending state dollars, this does require a roll call. So I would ask members, please, the chief clerk, please, will take the roll. The clerk will close the roll. There being 131 ayes and 2 nays, the temporary rules are adopted. Announcements by the Speaker.
Announcement by the Speaker. The Speaker announces the appointment of Troy Olson as Chief Sergeant at Arms.
Will Troy Olson please come forward and take the oath of office? Do you solemnly swear or affirm that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the state of Minnesota, and that you will faithfully discharge the duties of the office to which you have been appointed to the best of your ability, so help you God? Congratulations. Thank you, Troy. Representative Dean offers the following resolution relating to temporary rules. The Chief Clerk will report the resolution. I'm sorry.
Dean offers the following resolution. Be it resolved that the Chief Clerk be instructed to inform the Senate by message that the House is duly organized pursuant to law.
Member from Washington, Representative Dean.
Mr. Speaker, members, this is out of courtesy and custom, our traditional thing that we notify the Senate that we are duly organized and ready for business.
Is there any discussion? Any discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay. The resolution is adopted. Representative Dean offers the following resolution.
Dean offers the following resolution and moves its adoption. Resolved that the Speaker appoint a committee of 5 members of the House to notify the Governor that the House of Representatives is now duly organized pursuant to law and ready to receive any message he may desire to give.
I recognize the member from Washington, Representative Dean, to explain the resolution.
Mr. Speaker and member, this resolution appoints members from the House to notify the Governor that we are duly organized and ready to do business, and also to bring back any messages that he may have for us.
Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay. Resolution is adopted. Announcements by the Speaker.
Announcement by the Speaker. The Speaker announces the appointment of the following members to the committee to notify the Governor that the House is now duly organized and ready to receive any message he may desire. Scott, McNamara, Atkins, Simon, Moran.
Announcements by the Speaker.
Announcement by the Speaker. The committee members just named should meet immediately in the Governor's office to notify the Governor that the House is now duly organized. The committee will return to the House chamber later in today's session, and the Speaker will call on Representative Scott for her report.
I recognize Representative Dean offers the following resolution.
Dean offers the following resolution and moves its adoption. Resolved that the necessary employees, as directed by the Committee on Rules and Legislative Administration, be authorized by the House effective today, Tuesday, January 4th, 2011, to expedite the business of the House.
Call the member from Washington, Representative Dean, to explain the resolution.
Mr. Speaker and members, this resolution empowers the Rules Committee to go ahead and hire and direct the employees of the House in moving forward and to get ourselves organized.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying, there is a roll call required. The chief clerk will take the roll. There being 132 ayes and 0 nays, the resolution is adopted. Announcements by the Speaker.
Announcement by the Speaker. The Speaker announced the appointment of Representative Davids, Holberg, Lanning, and Westrom as Speakers pro tem for the 2011-2012 session.
Announcement by the Speaker. Members, the appointment of the other standing committee assignments and the new committee meetings scheduled to be published in today's journal.
The Speaker announced the appointment of the following members of the House to the Committee on Rules and Legislative Administration: Dean, Chair; Doubt, Vice Chair; Anderson, S.; Banyam, Hamilton, Hoppy, Howes, Kelly, Mack, McNamara, Nornis, Pepin, Scott, Westrom, Benson J., Reinert, Hillstrom, Knuth, Lane, Lilly, Murphy E., Norton, Paymar, Pulowski, and Thiessen.
Representative Holberg offers the following resolution.
Holberg offers the following resolution and moves its adoption. Be it resolved that the selection of the permanent desk shall be directed by the Speaker as follows.
I recognize the member from Dakota, Representative Holberg.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members. If you like the seat you're sitting in, I suggest you vote yes.
Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion is adopted. Messages from the Senate.
Messages from the Senate. Mr. Speaker, this is to notify you that the Senate is now duly organized pursuant to Minnesota Constitution and Minnesota statutes. Signed, Kel R. Ludeman, Secretary of the Senate. Mr. Speaker, I have the honor to announce that the Senate of the state of Minnesota is now duly organized pursuant to law with the election of the following officers: Michelle L. Fishbach, President; Kel R. Ludeman, Secretary of the Senate; Colleen J. Pacheco, First Assistant Secretary of the Senate; Michael R. Lynn, Second Assistant Secretary of the Senate; Melissa Mapes, Engrossing Secretary; Sven Lindquist, Sergeant at Arms; Mary Logan Hall, Assistant Sergeant at Arms; and the Reverend David Hennon, Chaplain. Signed, Kel R. Ludeman, Secretary of the Senate. Mr. Speaker, I hereby announce the adoption by the Senate of the following Senate concurrent resolution herewith transmitted. Senate concurrent resolution number 3, a resolution relating to adjournment for more than 3 days. Dean moves that the rules of the House be so far suspended that Senate concurrent resolution number 3 be now considered and be placed upon its adoption.
I call on the member from Washington, Representative Dean.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members. This resolution will allow us to skip the 3-day rule and meet next week. We need to do that because the Youth and Government program will be in the building. So in order to do that, we need to suspend the rules. I've spoken with Representative Thiessen regarding this and would appreciate your support. It does require 90 votes.
The member from Hennepin, Representative Thiessen.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I also encourage a green vote on this. It's the right thing to do.
Seeing no further discussion, the clerk will take the roll. In this case, we will take an aye and yea vote, although Representative Thiessen, good idea on the green vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Suspension of the rules is adopted.
Dean moves that Senate Concurrent Resolution Number 3 be now adopted.
Member from Washington, Representative Dean.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members. This will allow us to meet next week. Last time, I promise. Encourage support.
If there's no further discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. The motion is adopted. As we wait for our organizing committees to return from their notifying of the governor and the Senate, are there any announcements? The member from Washington, Representative Dean.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members. Immediately after the session, we will be having a reception in the retiring room, so if folks want to come back with your friends and family and enjoy some treats and refreshments right afterwards in the retiring room.
Are there any other announcements? Representative Abler.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today is a day to celebrate, and I'm happy there can be treats and refreshments. Tomorrow we get to work. If you're on the Health and Human Services Committee, I'd like to make sure you're aware there's a hearing at 12:30, a joint Health and Human Services, both policy and finance. It'll be in room 200. I don't know how the notifications, if they got out to you or not, I hope they did. We have a ton of work to do, and we're going to start tomorrow. So thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The member from Hennepin, Representative Thiessen.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. First of all, let me extend my congratulations to you, and I look forward to working with you and the majority as we move into the session. And I also wanted just to announce that Governor Dayton is also hosting a reception after you're done in the retiring room over in the governor's reception room for all members and their families, so you're all invited there as well.
Thank you, Representative Thiessen and Dean. I call on Representative Scott from the committee to notify the governor to give her report.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for waiting. The refreshments were delicious down there at the governor's reception. And the governor just sent his best wishes, congratulations, and he said he looks forward to working with us. And so our duty has been fulfilled by our committee, and we are ready to roll.
Thank you, Representative Scott. Are there any other announcements? Representative Beard.
Mr. Chairman and members of the Transportation Policy and Finance Committee, tomorrow is a regular scheduled meeting. It is not my intention to call a meeting tomorrow. Please organize your offices and work with your LAs to get your paperwork in order. I intend to call the first transportation meeting Monday at a regular time.
Representative McNamara.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I appreciate that. To members of the environment, I think energy comes next. Environment, energy, natural resources. We will meet tomorrow at 8:15. The coffee will be on. Coming from the real world, and for those of the 33, 36 new members, I'm a landscaper. We're used to working. We're going to be in committee business at 8:15 tomorrow morning. Professor Deb Schwackhammer will be doing a report.
Representative Garofalo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ed Finance will be meeting at its normally scheduled time tomorrow as well. Watch your emails for details.
Are there any other announcements? Any other announcements? Member from Washington, Representative Dean.
Mr. Speaker, I move that when the House adjourns today, it adjourns until Monday, January 10th, 2011 at 3 p.m.
Representative Dean moves that the House adjourns today. It adjourns until 3 p.m. Monday, January 10th, 2011. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion prevails. Representative Dean.
Mr. Speaker, I move the House do now adjourn.
Representative Dean moves that the House do now adjourn. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. The motion prevails. The House stands adjourned until 3 p.m. Monday, January 10th, 2011.